Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL podcast channel. In this episode today, as you can see by the screen, we're doing a tier list, more so a ranking. We're going to be doing our way too early predictions for the standings for this season. Now that we've been able to see the game, see how it's played, see a couple of the teams play here and there, we're going to make our predictions a little more fact based, I guess, since we've seen the game, but still probably way too early for us to be doing this. That's why we're going to call it the way too early ones. We might do another official prediction in like a month when the season is actually like rolling around and we have a little more information on the teams. But if you guys enjoy this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. We appreciate your guys' support as always. You guys kind of crushed it for the last episode being an off-season episode and kind of still being in the lull. So we really appreciate that. And let's jump into this one, Brock. How you doing today?
Oh, doing pretty well today. Like watch a little bit of the K-San tournament this weekend, and just gets me more excited to see the teams actually play when the season starts.
Yeah, the game is it's definitely looking like it's going to be a chaotic one to say the least.
Yeah, chaotic is better to watch.
Yeah, I was able to catch like a lot of the beginning of the tournament, but it went so late. And you were actually over at my apartment the night of the games, and we were having a bunch of drinks. So
Yep.
we had a bunch of people over on Saturday. We were having a bunch of drinks, just hanging out with everyone. So I was not I was not in any shape to be watching the matches late on Saturday, and also the matches went so late. Like, you were leaving our place at like 2 a.m., and I'm pretty sure the matches were still going on.
Gee, yeah, it was definitely a fun one at your place
Yeah,
for sure.
so we were slamming back some coffee tequila and hanging out with everyone, and we were able to watch a lot of the beginning of the tournament, but not the end, but it was way too long. Obviously that's not Kason or like anybody's fault. It was the classic Call of Duty, the game just being busted.
Yep.
Lobbies breaking everything. It's definitely still shout out to Kason. He threw an awesome, incredible tournament. He can't do anything about the game just breaking.
hmm Yeah. Shout out
But
K-San for putting this all together and somehow making this go.
yeah, I mean, it sounded like he had a lot of hoops to jump through, kind of like we thought, where he was able to get like the full teams there.
Yeah.
Um, and then people were complaining that all the teams weren't there. People will find a way to complain about anything, but it was just cool that he was able to even throw this together with the top three teams and like another team that we believe could be solid and the C9 squad able to throw this together in the offseason. Like very cool. It was fun to see like the first time really officially on land the LA Thieves team in action. Fun to see the
hmm
defending champs OpTic. We got to see the new look C9. Um, and like we said, this game it may affect our rankings and how we're ranking teams today, but it is looking like it is going to be fast.
hmm
This is looking like a very fast game. Uh, Man, I'm excited though. LA Thieves obviously come out on top. OpTic, we don't know how serious of a tournament this was with all the delays and everything. And OpTic seemed like they were playing zombies to warm up between matches. So not going to take the results too seriously. But FaZe in third, C9 in last. OpTic ended up finishing second after coming from winners, and LA Thieves got the W.
Yep. Just overall, congratulations, LAT. It's a new form team, and they're looking pretty good.
They are looking they're looking pretty good. And like they said, they haven't scrimmed much, so it's probably only going to get better. Uh, only more established, more chemistry, I would assume. So LA Thieves are looking scary, but it's not like this is something we didn't expect.
Yeah. When we first saw the four players that were listed that go to LAT when the deal happened, we knew what we were gonna get.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that the floor for this team was insanely high. Like there was something absolutely wild would have had to happen for this team to suck, or has to happen for this team to suck, or not be like a top three, top two team this year.
Yeah. Yep. Just more excited to get to the actual season and rank play, of course.
Yeah, of course. Uh Ranked play and Brock, they announced the 21st for ranked play.
That is correct.
That is kind of insane. Like I still like I didn't want to believe that it was true when they were all saying like it could be earlier. And I mean, you and I were like, maybe that means we have it before Christmas, like was our hope, but we're like, we know how this goes. And honestly, until the day it comes out, we still have to be like cautious.
Yeah, they said the 20th first, but probably more likely, yeah, another delay here.
Hey,
Usually
not
happens.
let's not speak it into existence. The delays usually always happen, but let's act like it's not going to.
Yeah, hopefully not, because sooner it comes out, sooner I can play it. Be a fun time.
And we're just gonna not jinx it. We're gonna be like, "Yep, it's coming out." So we were like, "Oh, hopefully with that news that it's gonna come out in the middle of season one, hopefully it comes out before Christmas." Well, according to their updates, it's coming out before Thanksgiving, Brock.
Yeah, it's that when we first saw that, like you said, we were just kind of like mind blown. Like, how is it so early? It's gonna come out.
And
So it's not.
it sounds like there's really good updates to it as well.
Yeah, I just kind of shocked at the date and waiting for it to come out at this point so early.
Because, I mean, the new features, Brock, map and mode veto. So it sounds like before each match, 3 map and mode combinations are presented and teams independently vote to veto one of the presented options. So I guess I didn't see more details on it, but is that going to feature one of each mode? So is there going to be a control, a search, and a hard point? Or could it be 3 hard points? Could it be 3 searches? Could it be the 3 controls? Or will it be like a mixture? Like it could be 2 hard points and a search? I don't know.
Honestly, I'm not sure, but
I
I'm
feel
sure.
like if it's there's a chance it could be all one, like all a game mode, or like you're gonna get like a random, like it could be 2 controls and a search, or it could be one of each, or it could be like I feel like there's gonna be a way where they, because otherwise I feel like nobody's gonna play control.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because like if it comes up and I could play search, hardpoint, or control, I don't know. Maybe everybody isn't this way, but I probably want to play hardpoint first. I'm a search and destroy kid, so I definitely want to play that second. And control is definitely my last pick. Like I would rather play search if I'm playing with a full squad than control.
yeah. I know. A lot of people don't like search half the time too.
Yeah, I just would rather play it than control. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of playing control.
Hopefully, it's not like one of each, because then, like you said, control is never getting played.
Yeah, like control will literally never be played because people will be vetoing uh control right away and then most likely honestly I hope it's not at all because like people will pretty much always be vetoing search and control and it'll just be rank play will literally just be a hard point fast. Which I mean I love hard point, but like the point of rank play is to play all the modes, you know.
Yeah,
Uh
definitely.
And then another awesome feature with it is the forfeit feature. So you can vote with your team, kind of like you can like the only game I play with like a feature like that is like Valorant.
Yep.
Like if you're losing big time, you know you're gonna lose. You can just vote to forfeit. So you can vote with your team to end a match early if you're getting blown out. I not don't necessarily love it for like the blowout because like in Valorant it's way different. Like if you're down like 6-0 and you can really tell the other team is just way better than you. Especially for us, we suck at Valorant.
Hmm.
Like it's not so bad to me to like vote up, but like in COD it's different because like in hardpoint, like if you, I mean I guess if you're down like that much, you might want to leave. But like, I don't know. Hardpoint's always possible to make a comeback. And like even search and destroy, it's so different in COD. Like you get a couple rounds to go your way, you get a streak, and you can all of a sudden just like rattle them off. So I don't know when the forfeit feature would be used. The one thing I like it for though is if you have like a lag out or something,
Yep.
or if you're playing with randoms and somebody quits right away, it's nice that you can just like forfeit the match rather than having to like it sucks when you're playing control and your teammate isn't there off the start. He's AFK and he just leaves instantly, and you have to sit through 3 rounds of control playing 3v4. Just a waste of
Yeah.
your time.
Yeah. It's just not fun because you're just not gonna win.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yep.
And then honestly, one of the other cool things for us specifically, Brock, is full parties of 4 can play together regardless of their individual rank, um,
That's good.
which is incredible for us. And the reason for that is, we have like your brother is very good, you and I are pretty good, and then we have like other friends that like are roughly the same rank. But we also have friends that are like getting to plat is like an accomplishment, big time for them.
Hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that if that's the level you're at. But for us, it sucks because we have to create like alt accounts and like create more accounts to use if we want to play with them. Because like usually you and I we've never gotten to iridescent because we don't really have a chance to, like, because we like to play with our stack four. It's just like fun. We like to,
Yep.
because we're not like top 100 players or whatever, so or top 250 players. But you and I usually get to like crim and then we have to stop because like our teammates can't, the max they can get to is plat and we can't play with them.
Yep.
So, like, we would try to make the run at Iridescent, but we just, like, can't play with them, and we're like, "We're on, we all wanna play together," so, like, we make a new account.
Hmm.
So I'm really excited for this. When we hit Crim, we can actually still keep climbing even if our friends are in, like, Plat or Gold.
Yeah. That is definitely a nice feature for definitely like us and our friend
Well, it's
group.
also just the ease of being able to play is just so much easier for us now, like,
Yeah.
The fact that we don't have to create alts and like when you're on PC you can't. Like on Xbox you could just create like an alt account. It's so nice.
Yeah, I know. Like in the past, it's like, oh, we can't even really play. We gotta let, we gotta have to let the other people get up higher so we can actually play them again.
Yeah. And then Brock, each player's first loss of the day will be forgiven and not deduct SR. It's not like really that big of a change, but I think it's kind of funny. It's like you get on and you have like a rough first game and you're like, yo, I'm warming up, I'm warming up. Now you actually don't lose SR for it, which is kind of funny.
That's kind of nice
It's
for
kind of
the
just like a funny feature, but
yeah.
um yeah, I'm very excited for rank play though. We'll definitely be hopping on there and playing, and that means I have to get really on my dark matter grind because I have like our update on our dark matter grind. I guess we can update people on that. I have melees, pistols, launchers, shotguns, and snipers, diamond, and then and marksman rifles, and then I have all but one of the LMGs. I just unlocked the last LMG, so I need to do that one, and then I'll have diamond LMGs, and then I have 4 of the ARs done and one of the subs. So I saved ARs and subs for last this year, which I'm really grateful for now because I'm just gonna be able to fly through those. So once I get this all diamond, then obviously I have to do the dark spine challenges and then dark matter. So I'm gonna try to get done before rank, because once rank comes out, you know that's all we're gonna want to grind.
hmm Yeah,
So
I'm not gonna about to play a pub when it ranks out.
mhm.
Yeah, my dark matter grind is kind of similar to yours. I'm on the last sniper. Have like maybe 20 headshots more to go. And then I have those all gold and have to get diamonds still. Then shotguns I have done. LMGs besides the last one I have
Yeah.
done. The marksman rifles are done. And I kind of just have like half of the ARs and a sub. And I also need to do the pistols.
Dude, the pistols are actually incredibly easy.
Yeah, I was pulling it out yesterday. I was playing a little bit. It's kind of easy when I was sniping and using a pistol.
Yeah, I was doing hardcore Nuketown with a pistol because I hate doing hardcore because like I do enjoy playing like the regular game. The thing is, I just want to get the dark matter grind done, and hardcore is so much easier. Just one tapping heads. Like I pull out an AR or an LMG or pistol, I'm getting 20 plus headshots a game. It's just so much easier than playing core, even though core is more.
Yeah, I have to agree for the grind aspect.
Yeah. All right, Brock, you want to do this ranking now?
Let's do this tier list.
All right. We're gonna just Okay, so these rankings obviously very early. We obviously know the rosters for the teams and we've seen some of the gameplay. We've seen some of the teams play, but like admittedly, like I don't pay too much attention to scrim results because it's the same thing. Like last year, I mean, I was getting arguments with people in the comments. They were saying OpTic scrims. Like our boy PD, we love PD. He was telling me in the comments how OpTic was looking terrible in scrims. shottzyy didn't like the game. They weren't going to be a good team, and OpTic ended up winning an event and champs. And I was like, I'm not going to lose faith on off-season scrims. Like, I think this OpTic roster is really good.
hmm
I have faith in Kenny, and they ended up proving me right. For a little bit there, it was looking rough. Going into champs with how OpTic looked in Major Four, it was looking rough. But like, let's say LA Thieves was having really bad scrim results. I'm looking at that roster, kind of like OpTic last year. OpTic's roster was loaded. If I see LA Thieves having bad scrim results, I'm going to be like, okay, like the team needs a little bit to mesh. Like, I'm not gonna look at a team with Hydra and Scrappy on it,
Yeah.
and be like, I don't know about this team." Kinda like last year when they had shottzyy, Pred, Dashy, and Kenny. Like, I was like, "Yeah, is it a good thing that their scrim results haven't looked good?" No, I'm not, like, hyped for them that their scrim results look bad, but I'm not gonna be like, "Oh my god, hit the panic button now, right now." It's, like, the worst thing ever. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Like we're gonna just look at the rosters, what we think, and we're gonna just do our way too early rankings. And at the end of the year, we can maybe come back and see how close we were.
hmm
So I'll let you kick it off, Brock. We'll start at the bottom. So who do you have finishing in last place? This is strictly This is only regular season standings. This has nothing to do with champs.
All right.
Uh, champs place. And so whoever you put in first is who you think is going to finish first in the regular season. That's all we're doing today. And we'll
Okay.
do maybe our predictions for champs and stuff later. But this is just strictly first place regular season, nothing to do with champs.
Alrighty. So I'm thinking here, like like the obvious choice is probably the Vegas Falcons, since we really don't know much about them. But
Yeah.
for some reason, I want to pick the Breach, but I just feel like those players should be good enough to outdo the Vegas team. So therefore, I'm gonna do the Vegas Falcons as the last place team.
Yeah, I thought for a second there you were going a different direction.
I was like, Boston should have a good enough players to outdo like Vegas in the end for the regular season. But who knows? Vegas could finish first for all we know.
If Vegas finishes first, Brock, you are like some kind of savant. Like that Vegas finishing first is insane.
Maybe these players that we don't really know about are just like four hydrant scrappies on the map. We don't really know that well.
Yeah, that's if that
But
happens, you're insane.
I'm gonna go with Vegas Falcons as the last place team.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. It's pretty hard to say, and it's not disrespectful to them. It's just like obviously you've got your top three. C9 seems to have a pretty decent roster. Even like other potentially bottom teams that people are looking at, like a Boston Breach, or I don't know, like some people. I don't know who else you would say is like a clear bottom team, but like looking at some of these teams, it's hard to imagine a team because like a lot of these teams are like all players that we've seen in the CDL before and like have performed at least like average for a lot of the time we've seen them.
Hmm.
And these are four players on Vegas Falcons that have literally never touched the CDL. The only time we ever saw them play against like that high level competition was at the World Cup, and they held their own like decently in like some of those matches. But like, it's hard to believe like that they will be able to finish anything better than last. And who knows? Maybe they'll improve very quickly. Uh, and they'll be able to, start taking on some of the bottom teams. I don't expect them to like be beating the top teams, but like who knows with all the practice and stuff, maybe they'll be able to come out and learn quicker than we think and start to beat some teams. I guess
Hmm.
like the one caveat for them improving would be like let's say they do just like they're struggling really bad, they overhaul the roster, they're able to pick up some good players, maybe that could catapult them above last. But right now with the current roster, considering that they have
Yeah,
all players that have never touched the CDL and never played against this good a competition, I find it hard to believe they won't be in last.
yeah, agreed.
Honestly, Brock, from here, I think it gets relatively difficult
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know who to put like in the next place.
because I think it's pretty obvious to me, unless something crazy happens. I think our top three teams that we all think, OpTic, Phase, and LAT, they're probably going to be in some order the top three.
Yeah.
But other than that, like every team on here, like I kind of like stack them all up against each other, and I'm kind of like, I could see a world where this team could be decent, or I could see a world where this team could be decent.
Hmm.
Obviously some of them will bottom out and not be very good, but who do you have at 11, Brock?
At 11, oh man, I'm gonna go with the Boston Breach.
Yeah, reasoning behind that one.
Reason behind I was just debating whether I put him in 12 or in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put him up there too. I agree with you. Although a lot of people have been saying that Stoopy has been looking unreal on this game, which is kind of like that doesn't really shock me though because it's like a very movement heavy game. Stoopy is a very mechanically skilled and talented player. That's never been the issue with Stoopy.
Yeah. Hmm.
I'm not surprised if he looks snappy on the game. It's going to come down to in actual matches, how does his decision making look? Because it's Snoopy's issue with why he's been struggling for like we didn't maybe expect. A lot of people thought he'd be a good player. His issue has never been with his skill level.
Yep.
I put Boston up there, by the way, in 11th as well. I agree with you.
Yep. One thing I was gonna say, this team might struggle heavily if the ARs are not producing kills and stuff like that.
Well, and also it seems like a game that's going to be very predicated on aggression,
Hmm.
and that's from your like. We'll see how many people are actually using a sub on the map, but like in a game that's extremely predicated on aggression, like maybe Snoopy can put up slay numbers, but am I really trusting Purge as the other sub on the team
Yeah.
against like some of these like top tier sub duos, like a Snoopy Purge sub duo going up against the Tiny Terrors, going up against even like Gwyn and Vivid,
Yep.
even like Linz and Kismet, the LA Thieves duo, obviously the OpTic duo. I mean, even like Nero Estriel on Minnesota or
Yeah.
Jodis using Kleenex on Toronto, like that sub duo is not even coming close to any of those teams.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just I can't see this team being better than 11th unless they made a roster change. But they might be like LAG from last year where they just don't make a change because they don't have the cash.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'll let you keep the lead here, Brock. Who do you have in 10th place? Now I think it really gets harder because I do think Boston was a pretty easy candidate to put there.
Yeah, now I'm just kind of I'm between two teams right now, and I'm between the Vancouver Surge and Miami Heretics.
I th- from what I've been seeing from the community, Brock, I think compared to the community, we're very low on Surge compared to the community.
Really,
Yeah. So like, why are you low on Surge? Because I think we're low on Surge for the same reason. But like once again, I could see them cracking the top 8.
Surge for me, like sure, they're probably gonna be a decent searching since they have a bunch of like some these pretty good search players, but
Yeah.
like this the respawn, like just the slaying aspect and like all four has some good games, but he has some stinkers, and Hixie is not really known to be a slayer whatsoever.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like we saw the Hixie Kleenex duo, and like obviously that duo had great results. Like they won a tournament, they got second at champs. Like Hixie is a capable player, but I think he needs to be like Hixie was on a roster with Scrap and Kleenex.
Yeah.
Like he had the best AR Slayer behind him, uh along with Kleenex, who is a bit inconsistent, but is a very good Slayer most of the time and a very good player most of the time. Whereas like 04 is, he can be a very good player, and 04 is a good player, but I don't know, especially because they have no AR that's even close to the level of slaying a scrap. I mean, I guess Abuza. I'm really high on Abuza. I will say that. That's the one thing that could make this team a lot better to me.
Yeah.
I think 04 is a really good player. Like I remember we were talking to our boy who we mentioned earlier, PD, in the comments. He thought we were kind of bashing 04 when we didn't have him in like our prediction for like a top 8 sub this year. And I'm an 04 fan. I think 04 is a really good player. I think he'll have a long career in the CDL, and I think he is a very good player. I just don't see him as like a top end player.
Hmm.
And I think Hixie needs a top end sub next to him for him to work
Yeah.
better. And maybe I could be wrong. Maybe we'll see a different Hixie this year.
Maybe, but I think I'm gonna go with. I'm leaning more towards the Miami Heretics.
Okay. You're gonna put them in 10th?
Yes, I'm gonna put them in 10th, and they're probably gonna finish like 8th, make champs like last year.
Yeah. This team is tough for me because it's like the whole Rencore thing. Like I just don't know much about him. He could come in and be an absolute stud for them, and then all of a sudden this team changes because they're like I don't know if you agree with me, but from here on out, I could see anybody finishing anywhere inside 4 through 10,
Uh,
legitimately.
yep.
I think well, I should say 4 through 10. I do think there's only a few teams maybe that could finish fourth. Like I don't see Miami being in fourth place, but like
Hmm.
from here on out, 4 through 10, like, I'd be more surprised by some teams, but honestly, like, they could finish anywhere. Like, the team I put 4th could finish 10th, and it wouldn't be, like, shocking to me because I think it's, like I think the bottom 2 are pretty clear in my head, and then the 4 through 10 is just a jumble, and then 1 through 3 is the top 3.
Yep.
So why do you
Agreed.
have Heretics in 10th?
Uh, I don't know. I just feel like they didn't really upgrade the team at all, and unless, like we said, I don't really know much about Rancor unless he's that so much better than Vickle, and it seems kind of like inconsistent at times, like last year. And I just don't see any of these players like getting like that much better than they were last year. That's my
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm battling on putting them 10th as well. So I'm definitely on the same page as you. Like, could Rancor make a difference? Sure. Like,
the
we
one
did
thing.
see what?
The one thing about this team is they will never give up. That's for damn sure.
No, this team's gonna fight, and that's why I'm like, I don't know, like I see, like they remember last year, like to start out the first major online, they were looking awesome. They were
Yeah.
looking like a top team, and then they went to LAN and they were just horrible. They didn't win a LAN series for like the first what 2, 3, whatever majors. Like they didn't win on LAN like at all. And then at champs, they looked okay.
Hmm.
Uh, and like Vickle looked really good, but Vickle isn't starting this year, is he?
I don't believe so. I thought they picked Frencorp to be the starter.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Lucky and Metals. Lucky's obviously the main, Metals more the second AR flex, and then Real and Rencor because they kind of held Real hostage.
Yeah.
Uh, So I don't know. Like I get like Metals had a good year, and when he switched to the AR, he got a lot better. Like Lucky overall, like wasn't the worst. Real is a very good player. Like he's up and down, but he's a very talented player. Like this team, I could easily see them finishing like I don't know top 8 for sure. But like I'm not like overly moved by them. I'm battling between 3 teams right now for my next 3 spots. I'm with
Mhm.
Heretics, I'm actually kind of thinking Surge. I guess 4 teams for my next 4. I'm kind of thinking between Gentlemates, Heretics, Surge, and the Minnesota Rocker are kinda like the 4 teams I'm thinking of putting next,
Yeah.
and I'm just lost on where to go.
Yeah, and I'm just like so many like who do I put?
I just like I feel like I've seen this roster with and that's funny I say I feel like I've seen this, so I wanna do this, and then I might, like, put Gentlemates next, which is also, like, I feel like I've seen that roster as well because I have, and they just lost their best player. It's the New York Subliners MW2 team without their best player.
Yeah.
Uh, so I am gonna agree with you on Heretics 10th, but this is, like, the first one that I'm feeling like, "Ugh, I don't love that I'm doing that."
Yeah.
Like, uh I don't mind the Vegas in last, the Boston in, second last, but the Heretics one in 10th, I'm like, "I don't like this." So, like, for those of you listening right now, this is not as definitive as the other 2. Like, this Heretics one, I can already see myself we're listening here, come champs time, the regular season standings are done, and Heretics is, like, the 6th seed at champs, and I'm sitting here like, "You know, why? Why did you do this?" So, like, future me, yeah, you had the hesitation in the beginning, you should've just kept Heretics in the top 8.
Yeah. Uh, oh yeah. This is
Number
tough.
9, Brock, yeah.
It's
It's
already
just tough
tough.
'cause
We're at 10 and 9.
yeah, and these rosters are just so jumbled in the middle that it's so hard to rank. Um,
Yeah.
Brock, and that puts us at number 9. Where are you going here? I'm thinking I know where you're going, but I'm curious.
Number 9. Oh. For some reason I'm like putting this team like I feel like better than they will be, but I'm gonna keep it at that as for now. So I'm gonna put the Vancouver Surge at 9. 9 them.
Vancouver Surge at 9. You think that's better than they're gonna be?
No, I was thinking about a different team,
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, I misheard you
but I
there.
didn't want I didn't want to say them quite yet.
Okay, so I mean, I told everyone who I'm thinking for like my next 4, so I'm down to like the 3 that were left from that. So well, I want to get your explanations on Surge and 9 in a second, but I'm between Surge, Gentlemates, and Minnesota, and I guess I'll explain mine. I'll let you go first with your reasoning for Rock or for Surge in ninth.
Hmm. My reason is just like that. I don't know. I just don't like love the Hixie pickup because
I
I
don't
just
either.
don't. I don't really think he can be a Slayer. And O4 is like he's good, but he's not the main. Like he's a good like side piece
Yeah,
to a team, but he's not like the star of the team. 'Cause, Abuza is gonna be Abuza. You have to probably hard carry. And Nasty is like pretty solid.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I Nasty is pretty solid. I like the AR duo on this team.
Yep.
I'm also not gonna lie, Brock. I kind of like Hook better on this team, who they originally had than Hixie.
Yeah.
I just think that the whole like dirty work player in this game might not be as prevalent. Like, I don't think that player is going to be as important in a game like MW2 that was a lot slower. And Hixie found this role on his team where he did so much dirty work and like, his KD suffered, but he was doing a lot for his team. I don't know that that role is going to be as prevalent. This game is just so fast and like head bashing. Like a lot of people are saying it's faster than Vanguard Bocage. And like, let's be honest, in a situation like that, the dirty work doesn't come into play as much. It's kind of like slaying is so heavily involved in a game like that. Like, that's one of my predictions for this year. I mean, we'll talk about like more bold predictions later, but like I think Hook's getting back on a team and he might make an impact this year.
Mhm.
'Cause this game is so fast, just like play with your head cut off and run and like get engagements. Like this is a game made for Hook.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Hook could be a very good player. I think he'll be picked up pretty quickly in this game.
I agree.
So I'm battling Brock because I agree. I think the Hixie pickup was kind of a miss. I like the AR duo. I think Nasty's a very good player. I love Abuza. I think he could be a top 3 main AR in the world. Like legitimately, I think Abuza is so good.
Hmm.
Um, I like O4. I'm just the Hixie pickup for this specific game. I don't love. So I'm
Yeah.
battling between them. Gentlemates because like we look at the roster and we're like, oh, it's pretty good roster construction and all that. But Priesta, his team last year just completely bottomed out. And honestly, apart from the NYSL year, his teams have been pretty bad as of late. And now I say like apart from the NYSL year, and I mean he did win champs in that year, so it's hard to discard it.
Yeah.
Uh, but like it's the MW2 team without their hard carry.
Yep.
Uh, I don't think Skies is like amazing. I think he's a solid player. I think Priest is solid, but like everything has to go right for this team. Kismet had a down year last year. Linz had a good start, but he had a down end to the year. Like we're looking at a lot of players that kind of had down years. So, maybe they can get back together and do something good. So I'm looking at putting them here. And the other team is Rocker.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The Paul X Geo Estriel Nero.
Yeah.
Like to me, that team is dripping with talent because I think Geo's a really talented player. I think Nero is super underrated still somehow and good. I think Estriel is going to build off his rookie year. I think he's very good. I think Paul is even a very good player, but that team has like extreme volatility in my head. Like I could see, I might put Rocker as a champs team, but I could also see that Rocker team just completely like imploding because they just don't seem to have much leadership.
Yeah.
A lot of young players.
I'm thinking the same thing.
So I'm hesitant on them, but my Rocker bias is going to have to come through. So I am going to put. Oh, I'm gonna put Seattle Surge here. I'm gonna agree with you. This is boring because I'm agreeing with you, but I don't like this one either. I could see Surge finishing eighth, ahead of Gentlemates or Rocker for sure. But I'm gonna
Mhm.
agree with you and put Surge here. The Hixie pickup, I think if they make a change or something, I don't know. Maybe we'll be wrong. Maybe Hixie's gonna come out frying this year. Like Hixie is a good player. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know that this game and this specific team fits Hixie too well.
Yeah. But who knows? Like you said, he'd come out and prove us wrong.
I hope he does because Hixie is a good player and he definitely deserves a spot in the CDL. I just don't think he got inserted onto the right team. And like if obviously if was an offer for him, like coming back into the CDL, he gets to play with Abuza, 04, Nasty. Like those are solid teammates. I could see this team definitely
Mm.
being in the top eight.
Yep.
From here on out, I'm gonna say that every time, but I could see this team being top eight or not because from here on out, it is very tough.
Yep. Man. Why is it
Like,
so
are we
tough?
are we gonna keep going the same route? Are you gonna do the same team in eighth as I am?
Ah, man. I don't know. The two teams I have for 8 or yeah, 8 or better is the Rocker and Gentlemates. And
Yeah,
I
that's
just
gonna be.
I don't know which one to put. Part of me is
I
like
don't
thinking
know.
like since like the Kismet Priestess guys are together, they're more comfortable and they kind of maybe will more camaraderie and be pretty good, pretty solid together. But like Rock has a bunch of talent, but like no like leadership, like you said.
Yeah, they could implode or it could be very good. I literally have no idea which way it's gonna go. Gentlemates feels like the safer answer, but Rocker feels like the answer with the higher ceiling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I just I'll go Gentlemates. It's really like a toss up to me, but I'll go Gentlemates.
I hate this, Brock, because I'm gonna agree with you again. We're making this boring for the listeners. This is weird. We've never done something like this where we've agreed completely on the standings like this for like preseason.
Should I switch it?
You want to for fun?
Yeah, I'll switch it for fun because like
You're gonna you're gonna
uh,
put Rocker in eight, then Gentlemates in seventh.
yep.
Okay, and I'll just flip it up. I'll put Rocker in seventh. We'll just determine that now. So I think your answer's safer. Would you agree? I think Gentlemates is the safer pick because
Yes, because
I
like the
could see them
leadership.
missing champs, just like with the players the way they are right now. I could see them missing champs, but I still say I I do think that they're like safer. Like I don't see them like being like completely terrible as like Rocker. I feel like the team could implode just due to like lack of in-game leadership and everything, and it could get really bad.
Hmm.
But I also don't necessarily think like this Rocker team is like going to do that. I do think they have a lot of talent. They could be very good. So I'm just up on the fence. I'm putting Rocker seven, Gentlemate eight. So you're doing the opposite. Gentlemate seventh, Rocker eighth.
Yep. Agree, and Lindsay gonna have a tough. Gonna have a good year. That's for sure.
Yeah. Uh, Brock. Then we're looking at sixth place, getting into the top teams, like the teams that maybe have chances to make Sundays. Get into the top four. We've got our bias coming out. This team with Carolina, and it's interesting because Slasher teams overall for the past, besides when he was on phase with the trio, it's pretty hard not to have a good year. Like he does seem like such a good player, but his teams overall have not been good apart from that phase year in quite some time.
Hmm.
Like even the
Yeah.
year he won an event with LAG when we were at like the year overall was very bad for them. Besides like the random win they got,
Yep.
they didn't even make champs with a win.
Yeah. That was crazy. That Vanguard year.
Yeah, like I don't know, like we have them up there because I'm assuming like you're obviously phase OpTic and Thieves aren't coming up to the top three unless you're maybe picking them to not finish in there.
Man, Who do I pick here? Mm, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with C9 in this place.
Damn it! I've been doing
No,
the same thing. I was
all
thinking
right.
that you were because like a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people have C9 as like fourth, fifth, and I was like, I'm gonna go bold and put him sixth, and you're doing the same thing.
That's so funny.
Uh,
By the way,
why do you have him in
I
there?
did not know he was gonna do this.
Yeah, I this is funny. Like we didn't say a single thing about our rankings before we went ahead into this. Like we were nope, we're not gonna say anything about our rankings. We're just gonna kind of just go in and just like do it on the fly, like tell each other. So this is kind of funny that like literally if you would have stuck with your original prediction, we'd be the exact same right now. We just ended up flipping rocker and gentleman's for fun.
Yeah. The, for reasoning for this team, is I think Kremp and Mac can be good, but they definitely Kremp is not very consistent sometimes, and Mac like last we saw it's not been consistent either. And he's going through stuff like we get it,
Yeah.
but and also like Sib. If Sib, I feel like if Sib's not in the right environment, he can tend to be playing a little bit worse than he is.
Yeah.
And Attach, I don't know. Attach is like he's like good, but like
He
I
hasn't
don't
been on an elite team in a while.
yeah, he hasn't been on like an elite team. I don't think at this point in his career he can carry the team.
Yeah. I mean, the last like really good team we saw attach on was like end of year Cold War rocker when they had like won the event against Ultra and going into champs. Like a lot of people thought they'd finish like top four, and I believe they did finish fourth.
Hmm.
Uh, that was like the last time we saw attach on like a really good team because then since then it hasn't been much. Like this is definitely what a lot of people think could be attach's best team and like maybe his last chance to get some top finishes because he is getting up there in his career. It's crazy to think that Tash is like almost the vet of the league
Yeah.
or up there as the vet of the league. Uh, but I agree with you. I think like this team to me, I could see this team being fourth place. I really could. But as much as I love the AR duo, I think their AR duo actually could be like the fourth best AR duo behind the top three.
Yeah.
Sib and Attach is a very good duo. I like you said, my conservativeness for them comes with the sub duo. Like Kremp can be very good and Mac can be very good, but Kremp scares me because of the consistency thing that you mentioned, and Mac also same thing. Like he can be a very good player, but like he didn't play last year and the year before that in MW2, and we did see him. It was a down year for him overall. Like you said, he may have been going through some stuff, with family and all that, but like all we can go off is what we saw, and he didn't have the best year, like
Hmm.
individual wise. So like, and like we were saying for other teams, the slaying, I don't know, it might come down to a lot of slaying, and I just don't necessarily know that I trust this duo, but I think they could have a lot of good moments. So I think they'll have enough to win. Maybe a roster change happens if they are struggling or something. But I do love the AR duo on this team, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them six as well with you. But I actually, shockingly, if the sub duo doesn't perform, I could see them lower. But I also think the attached sib duo is just gonna be awesome. Like those are two very good players.
Yep. Hmm.
Uh, all right, Brock. Fifth, I we might end up rounding out like the same because I'm assuming we're gonna have the same team in fifth place.
Are
This
we?
was like my bold prediction for the
Are,
for this entire like exercise here.
are you putting the Royal Ravens in fifth place?
Yes.
I am also putting that because oh man, it's so hard. I just
We both
This Toronto team with Joe Deceives, man. I don't know.
That's the funny thing is like we've it's not like on purpose because we do the podcast together, but with these two teams, we both have specific bias like
Yeah.
towards Ultra in Carolina that we just can't escape. Like we did the same thing last year with Carolina, just like seeing Tej on the team, seeing Clay. Like I think we both thought they were going to be pretty good.
Hmm.
Well, I guess not after the roster change, I should say, because they originally, had like God RX and Real, and then Real had the whole Visa thing, and it was kind of a mess for the team. But like once we saw like the Tej Clay, like we had this blind faith in this team to just be good, even though they really never showed that much.
Yeah.
Um, but this team, I mean, it has Vivid. Like we know Vivid, Wisconsin born. He's only a CDL pro, I believe. We always are supporting Vivid. We say it all the time. We also both really like Slasher.
Yep.
We also both really love Tej. Like Tej is
Oh,
one both.
They
both
love
one of our
Teach.
favorite players. Like he's one of our favorite players, each of us. Probably our top 5 and our top 5 for our favorite players in the league for each of us. And then also like the last guy who I don't really have any affiliation with or anything is Gwyn, and he's just a very good player. Like he's the reigning rookie of the year. He's one of the most talented subs in the game, which in the right situation, he probably could be like a top 5 sub.
Mhm.
He looked at
Yep.
times last year, situation wasn't maybe the best, but I think Tej is a player that makes a lot of winning plays. Him and Slasher have a history together. I think Vivid's a player that can be super aggressive and make a lot of winning plays. And if this game plays fast, this team is built for it. Like if they have to pull out 3 subs or just like have 3 players play extremely fast, like a Gwyn, Vivid, and Tej trio is very good.
Yeah. Just imagine is I'm just imagining like Vivid running in front of Gwyn. Gwyn just having that all-star year.
And Tej is gonna, as much as people like say like to make fun of Tej for being dumb, the guy is always making the right plays in the map in COD.
Yep. Especially in Search, making the game-winning plays always.
Funny enough, Brock, my question with this team is actually in search right now. And people are probably hearing that like, what? And even you might be hearing that thinking, like, why is your question search? My thing is slasher search. Like, it
Mhm.
was always talked about spread, play for picks, like, let the other team, like, give the game to you. And that worked like in older Call of Duties and everything. People maybe didn't know how to play advantages as well. And like, maybe did give up more lives. But I feel like slasher search, like, his teams haven't been as good at search at times. Like, he's been a pretty good individual player, but like, I feel like he needs to maybe start to give the reins to Tej a little bit more, because we know Tej, one of the most legendary search and destroy players in COD history, and I think Gwyn could be like a really good go button for them.
Yep.
I think like the duo of Gwyn and Vivid could be like such a good go button like mode to like switch it up. Like, some rounds they're playing more of the spread and pick slasher search, then some rounds they just hit the go button for the Vivid and Gwyn duo to just run at people, uh trade and find bloods, get them down to a 2v2 and let slasher and teach clutch. Like I think this team has a lot of potential in search, but I'm scared the slasher style hasn't seemed to work lately, so I'm scared they just kind of revert back to it and it doesn't work again. And a high potential search and destroy team doesn't reach that potential.
Yeah. Hopefully, if they do revert back to the slasher search, maybe he realizes and they switch it up, or the coach says something. Mm,
And it can work. It just hasn't seemed to work as well as it used to in recent years. And that could be due to the teams he had as well. Because obviously we thought the Boston team might be good last year, but that they were just, no matter who was in there, they were horrible.
yeah, that was just they were cursed. They were just cursed last year.
But I'll also admit, like, openly, like, there might be some bias involved here with me, like, wanting to put them so high because this is my favorite team this year. I got the affiliation for Rocker because they're, in our area kind of, but like, and I like the players in the team, but like we said, Vivid is our guy. Tej is our boy. Like, I love Slasher, one of my other favorite players. I always have had faith in Slasher, and Gwyn is just a very good player. Like, I feel, I love this Royal Ravens team, so I'm kind of biased for him, but I'm putting him in fifth. I definitely could see them finishing lower. Slasher's teams haven't been the best lately, but man, I want this team to be good so bad, so I'm just speaking it into existence.
Like it.
Then Brock, I'm assuming you have Ultra in fourth.
Yep. I have Ultra in fourth.
Uh, Another team that I could see finishing lower, but like the roster, like the only question I have is what if Beans and Insight don't necessarily play the best together? It's like the only question for me because
Yeah.
I love the sub duo, Kleenex and Joe Deceives. I love Joe. You love Joe as well. Like the sub duo was great. And I
Hmm.
think Beans could be a really aggressive like flex player and like could be a very good player for them. I'm a little concerned about that AR duo, but I think this team keeps a duo that's been very successful together, and they get two pretty solid players to play with them.
Yep. And Inside and Clinics just have that they like stick together. They're just like they're comfortable with each other. It
This
helps
is
a
a team
lot.
I this is a team I expect to be really good at search as well.
Yep.
Beans has had moments on like his first stint with Boston and MW2, and he had some really good search moments. Obviously last year there just was not many good moments from Boston in general,
Yeah.
no matter when he was on the team or not. Insight, obviously we know clutch factor from Insight. He's always leading the league, and clutches are right up there. Some crazy icy moments. I think this is a good team. I think their sub duo can keep up. Might be the fourth best sub duo in the game behind the top three. Um, but yeah, I like this team a lot. They feel
Yep.
like with us, they feel like a very safe bet. Like I see this team pretty easily being top six. Now watch they'll finish 12th or something. But I do see them Carolina, there's a lot of volatility with what we've seen recently from like slashers teams, and Tej didn't make champs last year. Gwyn was on that same team. Obviously, Vivid was benched for a lot of last year, so there's some volatility there. Same thing with C9, like with the sub duo, there's some volatility there. Gentlemates, Rocker, we obviously know Surge. A lot of these teams have volatility. It seems like Ultra is pretty safe that they should be top six to me. Like they seem pretty safe compared to all these other teams we just ranked.
Yep, I agreed.
I hope we switch it up a little bit here at the top because this has been uneventful in in a completely accident way. We've just happened to have like literally, if you wouldn't have just made the switch for fun, we would have the same prediction.
Yeah,
It's kind of wild because it literally was not pre-planned. I mean, why would we pre-plan it like this to
yeah,
have the same rankings?
yeah. Oh man. Next, third place,
Yeah,
the three super teams. Man, who do I even like?
I have my team firm, so I'm really hoping you say somebody else.
All right, I'm going phase third.
Okay, we differ here.
I'm going
You
phase
put
phase third.
okay, you're going phase. I'm going optic.
All right.
Uh, so I'm assuming you can guess my reasoning for putting optic third, and you can guess my reasoning why I wouldn't have phase second. I'm curious, why do you think or third? Sorry, why do you think phase is going to be third?
I think phase is third this year because I think this optic will be more consistent throughout the whole year, unlike last year. And I just think same with like LAT just be dominant throughout the year and phase. But they're like so goody too. That's like this is impossible.
Yeah. See,
How do I rank it?
I completely see what you're saying because like I think you're caught up in the thing that I almost got myself caught up in. It's like LA Thieves is the new shiny toy in front of us.
Yep.
And we're like, oh my God, Scrap and Hydra. Like this team is just like incredible. Like Envoy's on the team too. He's a great player. Ghosty is coming off like a breakout. Like he was good in MW2 for Optic, but then last year he was like a breakout year. Like he's like a star player. Uh, and it's like that's the new shiny thing in front of us. And it's like you see Optic, and it's like, ooh shiny. They just won champs. Like this team is the defending champs. The roster looks so good, and I agree. You can't go wrong. Really, any order you put these in, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Like I could see it happening. But the reason I'm going Optic third is because Optic tends to have like majors where they kind of like bottom out every year. Like no matter what the roster is, they seem to have like a major or two where they just like bottom out. Like last year, even the year before, Vanguard they had some pretty bad placements regardless of what was happening. They seem to bottom out. They seem to randomly have splits where they lose more matches than they should. Kenny's teams, as much as I love Kenny, they, even on LAT, they seem to have like random bad splits where they just like struggle a little bit. So I don't know. I just don't know that Optic is gonna be able to get to the top. I still think they're obviously gonna be really good. I have them finishing third. I just think FaZe and Thieves are gonna be more consistent throughout the course of the regular season and just accrue more points. And it's hard for me to put FaZe down here because like literally Brock FaZe has finished first every single year the CDL has been a
Mhm.
thing with their
Yep.
trio.
We're going different this year.
Yeah, yeah. I totally get it. Like you can't go wrong putting these other two teams ahead of them, but I just won't do it. Which leads me to my next point, Brock. I have LAT in second.
I have LAT in first. I'm just gonna go with the new super team in first.
You're putting Optics second
Yep.
and LA Thieves first. Hang on, move this around here. My thing is laggy right now. All right, so there we go. You have LAT coming up in first place. It's kind of funny. It pushes the tier maker side. It pushes Falcons to the bottom, so they're just chilling by themselves down there. But you got Optic in second, LAT in first. I have LAT in second and FaZe in first. Uh, my reasoning behind it, I mean, LAT, I think maybe they have a slightly more consistent year. I think maybe they win one more event than Optic, or maybe they just have overall more consistent placings than Optic. Like I just find it hard to believe Scrap and Hydra are going to struggle too much. I feel like, especially online, those two are just going to dominate people and find ways to win games. And I could be wrong. Obviously, I love Kenny. I think his team will be really good. I just think Thieves will be slightly more consistent this year, so they'll finish second, just maybe a little bit above Optic. And then I'm going FaZe first because, like I said, they've literally. I like every year. I'm like, oh, is Optic going to finish ahead of them? Or like last year, oh, is the Toronto Ultra team gonna finish ahead of them? And every year the answer is the same. No, FaZe just always gets first, and they usually get it by a lot because that's just what they do. Like they don't lose online, and they consistently they may not win, but they play a new team in finals every event. And they usually end up winning major two or like some major
Yep.
in there, and then they get second in every other major. Whereas like OpTic will win, but then they get last. Toronto will win and they get a top eight. So like LA Thieves might win, then maybe they'll get a top eight. And it seems like FaZe always finds a way to just be in the finals, and they just accrue so many points that they always end up in first. They literally have gotten first every single year of the CDL.
Yep.
I'm just not going to pick against it. It could easily happen. Like this is the year where it seems like we do have two like extreme super teams. But last year we thought OpTic, Ultra, and New York were all super teams as well, and FaZe still came out on top.
Mhm. Yeah. That is true.
But I don't hate your pick. I don't hate your pick at all of LAT and OpTic finishing in front of them. I could see it. It's just FaZe is just so consistent. Like they just don't. Where other teams have down splits, their down splits are like, oh, FaZe went 5-2 in the qualifiers and they finished third. When like
Yeah.
OpTic has a down split, they don't win a qualifier match, or they win one qualifier match and they take last. you know,
Mhm.
like I just don't see FaZe ever having that like complete bottom out moment. They're just way too consistent.
Yeah. That is true. But for the sake of the video, we're gonna switch it up for a little bit.
I mean, are you just thinking LAT on top because the new duo they just go on a tear? They roll this year, they win the most events or something.
Kind of, yeah. I just think I don't really see these three teams losing to any of these bottom teams really throughout the whole year.
I will say it seems like the league is so chalk this year because of the fact that we like had the same rankings through the other teams. But I will say I am very, very, very excited for the teams this year because like last year, like we had the top four that we going into the year, we thought it was the clear top four. A lot of us thought maybe, Boston would be five. Like people thought they had a really well constructed roster. Obviously, that didn't end up happening at all. But you know, a lot of the sentiment from all the community, whether it was former pros, people in the CDL, CDL personalities, casters, whoever it was, the flank, like we all seem to have the same consensus for the most part that like the top four was the top four. And then after that, it was kind of like, people did think Boston was going to be good, but it was kind of like, yikes, there's a lot of bad teams.
Mhm.
Whereas like this year, it's like, Falcons are kind of a question mark because, the players obviously like haven't really played. And we don't think Boston's necessarily going to be that good. But other than that, like Heretics were at champs last year. They, made a pickup. They could end up being a solid top 18. Surge, same thing. We're not overly high on them, but like Abuza 04, very good players. Nasty, very good player. Hixie is a good player if this game can fit his play style. Like they could be good. Gentlemates is three-fourths of a world championship roster. They could be good. Rocker has a lot of young talent. They could be good. So on and so forth. The AR duo of C9, very good.
Mhm.
Royal Ravens is a lot of talent. Ultra, and then the top three. Like it's like really the top three, and there's like seven other rosters after that I'm like, these teams all could be at champs very easily, and I wouldn't bat an eye. Like I wouldn't be shocked. So like, I don't know. I just overall feel like I'm very excited because the game I think is gonna be really fun to watch. I think this I don't want to get ahead of myself, Brock, but I think as a spectator, this could be maybe the best year of the CDL. Maybe I'm looking at it with rose colored glasses because I'm excited, but I'm really, really excited for this.
Well, definitely. Also really excited for this year, and it's a Treyarch title, and how those titles do normally.
Well, and I'm just excited for the year overall because a lot of like so my enjoyment from Call of Duty as does yours comes from the CDL and ranked play.
Yep.
And it seems like the CDL is going to be fun to watch this year. It seems like we have maybe the best not the best competition because the top 3 do look like they're going to be so dominant, but overall the league isn't so like top 3 everybody else sucks. Like it seems like it's going to be top 3 and then a really competitive second group that's like aiming for the upset. It would be obviously the best if it was like all 12 teams could win an event and we would never know who it's going to be. But like
Mhm.
it's kind of fun that we have a group of 7 that we do feel like have pretty solid rosters behind that top 3. And yeah, I just like my enjoyment comes from ranked play as well. And instead of waiting until January, like we're gonna be playing ranked in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's
Which
just
is
it's exciting.
it really is. Gotta get on that dark matter grind and finish that before
No,
rain
I
comes
gotta get on
out.
that. I'm gonna try to do that tonight probably.
Yep.
Um, you got anything else though before we wrap this one up?
Uh, No, just excited for the CDL season and rank play to come out and try and get that dark matter here next couple weeks, hopefully,
Yeah.
before rank play.
Yeah, me too. Drop your comments down below with your rankings. I'm sure some of you are going to have this looking very different. Like we said, top three seems to be the top three, and then after that, it's a jumble. I could easily see people having way different rankings than us. Maybe some people think higher of Boston and Falcons. You never know. Uh, there's always a team every year that everybody kind of has low that ends up surprising and ends up finishing pretty well, pretty good in the standings. So, like I said, comment down below your standings. I want to hear them. Anybody that's listening, I want to hear what your standings look like. If you got to this point in the video, I'll know. So you drop them down below, and we'll thank you for that. If you guys enjoyed this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. We appreciate all your support as always, and we will see you next week with another video. We might get into like award stuff or predicting that. We'll see. We're almost to the point where we can start talking about matches just a few weeks away. So I'm very excited about that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.